Grazing cover crops with pigs is something that is done a lot of times, and I'm Rob from Dowdle Family Farms, and we've been doing this for several years now. In fact, this sorghum Sedan grass cover crop behind me, I've grown this same cover crop for many years, and for the last 2 years I've grazed it with pigs at the end of the growing season. This year, however, we've spent a lot of time grazing this same cover crop mid-season to both increase pig nutrition, improve the quality and the health of our soil, while also maximizing the value that we get out of the cover crop that improves soil health as well. Today, I'm out here at the farm on the lawnmower and trying to figure out how to graze this next 1.5 acres or so that we have. We've got 6 breeder pigs with 8 babies on one of the mamas, and in another month or so we should be having a lot more babies being born. So before we get started, let me show you a little bit about what we've got going on here and some of the challenges that we're facing. So way up there is where we've been grazing the pigs, and they've had shade easily accessible with the edge of the woods over there. However, now the pigs are just on the other side of that white IBC tote, and the next area that they're going to be grazing is out in this sorghum Sedan grass that you see over here. Just as a reminder, this cover crop is sorghum Sedan grass, hybrid pearl millet, cowpeas, a little bit of forage soybeans. It's had buckwheat, sunflowers, and a little bit of brassica in there as well. Now, this late in the season, this cover crop's been growing now for 2.5 to 3 months or so. I've forgotten exactly how long now. But this cover crop, because it's been growing so long, the sorghum Sedan grass is by far the most significant portion of the feed value out here. If you look carefully in here, you can probably tell that the buckwheat has already gone to seed. It's formed a hard seed, as you can tell here. The pigs have been grazing hard seeded buckwheat now for 3 or 4 weeks. And the sunflowers, you can tell, are wrapping up their blooming. They're still in, I guess, what might be called a milky dough stage. There's seed that's forming, but it's not hard seed yet. It's certainly not dried. That'll happen over the next 2 or 3 weeks, however, as the pigs are grazing this. And they will eat the sunflower seeds as well. Of course, there is also some cowpea in here, the Chinese red and the red ripper cowpeas. I see a few of them like right here close to me, but most of those are a little bit further into the center. The sorghum Sedan grass ranges from 5.5 to 8.5 feet tall. It's well over my head in some places, so it has put on a good bit of growth. And in fact, you can see that it is starting to go to seed. It's a delayed maturity, so it's not going to seed nearly as quickly as some of the others are. But that seed head right there is typical of sorghum Sedan grass growing to seed. Now the hybrid pearl millet, some of it is going to seed as well, and that's what the millet looks like when it goes to seed. So this area here is about 1 acre or so, I think. It's thick, lots of sorghum Sedan grass, a good bit of hybrid pearl millet, and of course some grain from both sunflower and buckwheat as well. Now right here adjacent to it that you see here, the cover crop here doesn't look nearly as tall or thick. There are a couple of reasons for that. Primarily, this is a test case. This is the area where I've been testing the forage soybeans along with the Chinese red cowpeas and the red ripper cowpeas. The grasses that I've got growing in there are primarily the hybrid pearl millet. You can see a little bit of sorghum Sedan grass that's gone to seed there, but that's just kind of random seed that could be left over from last year, but most likely that's just seed that kind of fell in while I was seeding it. So because the pigs are expected to farrow in 3.5 or 4 weeks, in an ideal world, I'd have the pigs moving in here just before they farrow, so they'll have plenty of nutrition. Also, they'll have access to woods, and there's water and everything else close by as well. I'm standing on the eastern end of this field here with the sorghum Sedan grass and cover crop mix. And the thing about it is where I had planned on having my perimeter fence is right here along this edge. And as it turns out, you can tell that there's very little shade here right now. So what I'm going to do is pull this fence further back into the edge of the woods here. And it is amazing how much cooler it is in the shade further back in the woods here. But even moving back in here 30 feet or so gives the pigs plenty of shade. It's only 6 pigs, so that'll be fine. It gives them plenty of shade for this time of the year. My concern though is I'll need to move that thing down in here. So it's going to take a little bit of work over the next few days. Today, if I can just get the lanes cut, I'll have the actual image in my mind. So this is the third paddock that I cut. It'll be the first paddock that I move the pigs into, probably Friday or so of this week. Today's currently Sunday afternoon, July 23rd. This will be the second paddock, and then the third paddock, which was the first one that I cut, is over there. And then back over there against those trees is where the paddock is that has that test of the forage soybeans and cowpeas. This sized paddock right here is about 20,000 square feet according to my app that measures it. It is not quite as tall, so it's probably got roughly the same amount of weight in it. This second paddock is 14,000 square feet or so, and then the other one over yonder is right at 18,000 square feet. So all that to say, it's divided roughly evenly. It's close enough for my purposes. I sure wasn't going to walk around in circles trying to pace them out. So we'll see how that goes. I'm going to probably call it on this project for the day. So I think I've got it mapped out. I'm going to go check my calendar and actually see what day the piglets are due and when I expect to see them out here.